Hello, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Scott Sports 101. I'm Scott Trella. We got a lot of Browns news to cover. We got Cavs news. We've got a little bit of Guardians / Major League Baseball news. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. Which of the following teams has not won an NBA championship? Is it A, the Portland Trail Blazers, B, the Milwaukee Bucks, or C, the Orlando Magic? I will have the answer later in the podcast. We're going to go to some Browns news now. Every year at the NFL Combine, the majority of the teams have a representative or two who hold a mini press conference. This year, the Cleveland Browns, one of the teams who will have both their head coach and their general manager speak. Back on Tuesday, March 1st, General Manager Andrew Berry met with the media at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time at Podium 3. On Wednesday, March 2nd, head coach Kevin Stefanski talked to the media at 1:45 p.m. also at Podium 3. And sometimes one or more members of the Browns front office had hosted a special session for Cleveland area reporters only. There were reports on every press conference that has any Browns related nuggets, and there were a lot, and I can agree with what Andrew Berry said. He does want to win. He wants this team to get to the Super Bowl. And I'll let you know why. There were some major moves they made. I'll let you know why just a little bit later. Now there's some more NFL Combine news. The NFL Combine had taken center stage a couple of weeks ago, and it was officially underway in Indianapolis, Indiana. Andrew Berry met with the media, as I said on Tuesday, and he said the Cleveland Browns will be as optimistic as possible when it comes to the 2022 offseason. On Tuesday, March 1st, Cleveland Browns general manager Andrew Berry met with the media as the team was preparing for the 2022 NFL Scouting Combine. He touched on several topics, but the one that every fan will be happy to have heard was his take on the draft and free agency. Berry has shown in his first two seasons as GM that he is not afraid to move around in the draft or take big swings in free agency. And again, Berry said the team is going to look for any opportunity out there to improve the roster. And they have done that. And you'll find out in just a little while. We go into each off season with the thought process as if we had an expansion team, Berry said. According to Anthony Pozell of ClevelandBrowns.com, we look at every possibility and every opportunity to try and match it to our resources, cost, and really try to be as optimistic as possible to upgrade the entire talent base. Of course, the main position that needs attention is at wide receiver. Cleveland already has production issues at the spot, and it could get even thinner as Jarvis Landry appears to have one foot out the door. But chances are incredibly high that Berry will be taking a wideout at pick number, well, would have been taken away out of pick number 13. And there were several good ones. There are several good ones to choose from. But there was one they did sign. I'll let you know what that is in a little while. They might also need to address the defensive end spot across from Myles Garrett if they cannot re-sign Jadeveon Clowney, and will need help in the interior of the line as well. In addition to those known needs, there's still one looming question that won't go away, which is how the Browns really feel about their quarterback. Now, what about the Cleveland Browns quarterback position? One thing Berry said when asked about the roster is that they look at every position and want to add talent to each one. He emphasized that this is across the board. While he didn't specifically talk about the most important position on the team or quarterback, Baker Mayfield, the simple fact that he said this philosophy applies to every position will do nothing to quiet the rumors around number 6 and his future with the team. And his future seems pretty bleak right now. In the end, Berry will likely kick any option around, but staying mum is the right call, even if he's seriously considering a move. And there has been several moves you'll find out in a little while, as I've said. There's no reason to upset the current starter if there's no plan B in place. While some teams will spend big money on day one of free agency, look to the Cleveland Browns, to scoop up a few second wave guys for cheap. The Cleveland Browns enter the 2022 season with a win now mentally that's somewhat comical to me, as they have a quarterback in Baker Mayfield who was less than impressive last year, but Andrew Berry appears to be all in. With a few hefty contracts on the team already, don't expect the Browns to go hog wild on the high-end, explosive free agent targets. I expect the team to be extremely aggressive to keep Jadeveon Clowney and David Njoku, who will both be considered high-end targets, but a big focus will need to come on the draft. With the Browns having had pick number 13 in the 22 draft, after a disappointing 2021 season, this organization needs to land a defensive maker. The last time the Browns had an early pick in 2020, number 10, they picked the left tackle from Alabama, Jedrick Wills Jr., who still hasn't asserted himself as a dominant player in the NFL, but hopefully he will. I do believe that he will. After one or two splashy signings in free agency, looked for Berry and the Browns to go to the discount bin. Guys that are in the back half of their career, or guys who were drafted and high just haven't panned out. Excuse me. These three types of moves are typically low risk and can provide an extremely strong return if you hit them big on one. Excuse me. On one. Take Todd McKinley, and Clowney were both guys in 2021 that signed proved type deals and both performed extremely well. We all want flashy, explosive players, but the discount bin or second wave players can provide huge dividends, if the general manager does his homework and scouting here. Are there guys that won't move on the first day of free agency to keep tabs on? The Cleveland Browns drafted Danny Shelton at pick number 12 in the 2015 draft, and while his first tenure ended poorly, he could be a great fit for the defensive line. Shelton's time in Cleveland ended when he just couldn't stay on the field. He became so out of shape and gave such a poor effort, the organization finally traded him for a third rounder after just 3 seasons. Shelton has not lived up to top 15 draft status, but he has become much more consistent player, and that can be very effective on running downs. He still doesn't have the athleticism to be an effective pass rusher, but a big guy in the middle is what the Browns need. Another player possibility is Tommy Tohigi and Jordan Elliott. Tommy Togiai and Jordan Elliott, will be the two young guys who should get a bulk of the snaps, but neither has the frame to be a true 3-technique tackle when is where Sheldon thrives. The front office coaches and 99% of the roster have changed since Shelton left after the 2017 season. So don't be surprised if later in free agency the Browns make a run at the veteran tackle who may have a ton of interest in the open market. Many would have expected the Browns to draft a receiver with the number 13 pick that they would have had, which they do not have anymore, and I'll explain that in a little while. With the release of Jarvis Landry seeming inevitable, the team needs help at the position. Some believe the organization will have interest in big names like Mike Williams or Chris Godwin, but I don't see Barry willing to spend that much. Remember, it will likely cost $30 million to keep Clowney and Njoku, which isn't a guarantee. I would expect the Browns to take a receiver early and then sign a second wave guy like Christian Kirk, who has some potential but hasn't flourished yet in the NFL. Kirk was a second round pick in the 2018 draft by the Arizona Cardinals, and he did have his best season in 2021 with 982 yards and 5 touchdowns, but I still don't think many view him as a true number 1 receiver. I'm going to take a break, and I'll be back. It's going to turn into a 2-part podcast, so I'll be back and continue this story this Brown story right after this. Stay with us.